Okay.
Hi,
Okay.
so this is Lauren and Dominique Da Cruz with Dezilu Wine Co. We are very happy today to be speaking literally from Texas all the way to Burgundy, Gevrey-Chambertin to be more exact, with the Pierre Bouree and Fils estate, Domaine and Négociant bottling line. So thank you so much for taking the time. I'll let you introduce yourself and we'll get started.
Okay, I am Jean-Christophe Vallée with my son Vincent. And I work in this domain since more than 30 years. Pierre Bouree was founded in 1864 by my grand uncle Pierre Bouree. We has a child, Bernard Bouree, after, and Bernard Bouree has no son, no girl, no son.
Right.
And after Bernard Bouree, it's my father, Louis Vallée, who take the domain. And after him, I try to continue the fabulous history of Pierre Bouree Fils in Gevrey-Chambertin. Okay, we have two activities. We are owner of vineyard in Gevrey-Chambertin, for example, Charmes-Chambertin Grand Cru or Gevrey-Chambertin Clos de la Justice, who is a monopoly from the domain, or Pernan-Vergelès White, or Bourgogne, Fissin, La Croix-Blanche, Meursault. And we have another activity. We are éleveur, we say in French, négociant. We buy the grapes or the most is the white wine without fermentation, and the red wine in barrels just between the harvest and the end of the year.
So you do, even with the négociant line, you do all the élevage.
Yes,
at the estate.
Yes. We have two children, natural children and adopted children, and we love the two both.
And so since you talked about the two phases of the domain, do you treat the négoce wines the same way than the estate wines, through both vinification and élevage?
Yes, we have it's the same élevage. We work for our vinification. We continue to make classic wine with long vinification and long period of aging only in oak barrel. And we work with other domain or colleagues who works with the same fashion of us. Okay.
And through that élevage, your wines are definitely very structured. They have a lot of, backbone, meaning a lot of solidity and spine, and which also allows them to age incredibly well. It's a little counterculture from some of what we see today in Burgundy. And we are very thankful personally that you stay very traditional, in the approach. But can you comment on that?
What is important for us when we receive the grapes in our winery, we begin by separate the good grapes from the other one. And the difference is we keep the entire grapes. We don't destem the grapes.
Right.
Okay. It's very important for us to keep the wine for a long way. Okay. And the vinification is only in a big vat, in oak big vat, during 3 weeks. We continue pigeage, human pigeage. It's very traditional, and we age only in oak barrel, just a little part of new oak barrel, perhaps 20% until 25%, more in the white wine than in the red wine. For us, what is important is to give to the Pinot Noir the complexity of this variety, on the fitness, on the elegance of this variety.
Okay.
And
And
age during for the white wine until 16 months to 20, 22 months is for red wines. Okay.
I know I get the questions often when, for example, I present a 2009 Corton, Grand Cru Corton, and I very much emphasize that the wine is still very young and definitely, you know, probably meant for cellaring for some time longer. And of course, in a world of immediate, you know, gratification and result, I often get eyebrows and questions about, you know, it's very countercultured once again, when people, even Burgundy drinkers, might think that this is ready to go. And for example, with 09 Corton, in your own experience, what is the window for drinking, would you say?
The best way is to be patient, to wait perhaps between 5 to 15 years to drink Grand Cru, for example. You can drink a bottle for us immediately, but the best way is to wait time, to take time. As the wine, do you know the wine is as a human life, huh? Or a fly, right. Okay? It takes time, it stay a long time in this position, and after he go to the end of the life, but very slowly. Okay. And I have in my cellar the last oldest vintage that I drink with colleagues and son and father was 1927. It was only village, Gevrey-Chambertin. It was absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, it's interesting.
We need time.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's interesting. One of our, and you know, we've experienced from Chambertin to Clos de la Justice and many other of your wonderful estate-owned or non-estate-owned vineyards with many age on it. But one of our favorite that we had a chance to taste throughout several years was 1978 Côte de Nuit Village, just the Côte de Nuit Village, who was just beautiful, just singing and very, just very blossoming and perfumey, inviting and rewarding. And it's, in comparison, it's a little wine by standards, but incredibly rewarding. So fond memories of that.
How many, go ahead. I was going to ask you how many bottles of older vintages are in your cellars?
A lot.
A lot.
A lot, yes. Until 1911.
1911.
Until 1911, yes.
That's
since
incredible.
1911 vintage.
And what is very important too is the culture of the vineyard.
Right.
It's very, very important to have a good fruit. And when the harvest is coming, to wait the maximum to be sure that the grapes are mûr.
Ripe. Yeah.
Thank you.
the prime ripeness, which leads us to.
So one of the wines I wanted to visit with you about was the Santenay Rouge 2003, because as we know, 2003 was a lot of heat, an extensive period of heat. So how did you handle that, and how do you see this wine now?
2003 was really vintage, very difficult for us. And I say that, but now all the vintages are very, very difficult. One is ice, one another time is too much hot. And for 2003, the season was very, very hot. 40 degrees in August during 2 months. Okay.
Yeah.
And we begin, that was the first time that I know that, we begin the harvest at the end of August, and we cut only in the morning, until 11 in the morning. And that was terrible. The soil was very, very hot. And we keep the grapes, and I think we thought we cannot make wine with that, but only marmalade.
Right.
We take time to say what to think, and we continue with the same way, not for only the best, but sorry for my English.
No,
For the best way for us is a very traditional way that I speak a time before, and we keep not 3 weeks in the vat, but 4 weeks, and we keep a very long time in the oak barrels. And there is naturally a lot of alcohol, and without filtration, without rack. We don't rack this wine for the first time.
Okay.
Okay, interesting.
And the result, the wine was not good during 10 years. Sure, we keep the wine.
Yeah.
Undrinkable. Undrinkable. But now
Of the vintage,
we can test this vintage, yes.
Yeah.
The color is a little bit orange colored, as the ties of the Burgundies. And the nose was very wild animals.
Wild, like
wild animals.
Yeah.
Wild animals.
Yeah.
Do you want to cover any of the other points?
I've had a chance to try, several Burgundies from 03. And interesting that the word when the vintage came about was drink them fast, because they're lacking structure, and they're lacking, they have a lot of ripeness, a lot of fruit, but not enough acidity.
Yes.
And not enough tannin in that case. I think in your case, because of your very traditional methods,
with the whole cluster.
Whole cluster, the pigeage that by human pigeage that probably had very delicate tannins into the wines.
Very wrong.
Yeah. It just has helped the wine once again to have the proper more backbone in order for it to be able to travel through the years, which is pretty unique. And it's been some time since I've had an 03, and we haven't tried the Santenay. We will in a couple of weeks from now. So maybe in 4 weeks, we'll give you a call back and let you know at that point.
Yes. Sure.
But we look very much forward to it. I think we just want to also thank you for keeping such a wine library, a wine cellar with all the vintages that you release. It's a treat, because it's hard to find them in the market, especially coming straight from the domain. You find them on the secondary market, not always very sure of where the wine has been, and Burgundy being so delicate,
or how it was stored and cellared.
Yeah, so it's we thank you for keeping that library and for sharing it from time to time.
Absolutely.
And from time to time, we stop to sell some wines of our domains. We keep 5 or 10 years in the cellar, and after this time, we offer again in the price list this wine. To be sure that the wine is good tested, or it's a good period to test the wine.
Right.
Right.
And I might ask, since I have you here, for example, Chambertin 2010,
10 years.
the drinking window, would you say?
Perhaps Chambertin is the Grand Cru with the more feminine of Grand Cru in Gevrey-Chambertin, compared to Mazy Chambertin, who has a lot of structure. Chambertin 2010, it's better to taste after 15, 20 years.
Okay.
And to decant before.
Okay.
Very delicate. Very delicate.
Very good.
Very delicate.
Very good. And the question, since we have the next generation here on the screen also, what is the future of Pierre Bouree looking like?
I have to, if you want, you can speak in French. It's possible?
Yes, yes, I'll try slowly and I'll make
Quel futur la maison en Bourgogne?
Excusez-moi pour mon anglais. Hein.
No.
Excuse me.
No, it's just fine.
Le futur du domaine, je pense que c'est l'importance du traitement qu'on apporte aux vignes, dans le sens où aujourd'hui, on se pose beaucoup de questions sur l'avenir des traitements, sur le maintien de la vigne, sur le bio, sur la biologie, sur un quelconque label.
Okay, so the future of Pierre Bouree is really a constant focus into the vineyard first and foremost, the care of the vineyard also, the biological balance that one can bring or help bring to the vineyard land.
Yes.
Donc, sur le point de vue vigne, en effet, il y a un effort environnemental à faire. Et puis, au point de vue vin, on recherche toujours la qualité. On essaye toujours d'aller plus loin tout en gardant, évidemment, le côté traditionnel de la maison. Voilà.
So, and finding this balance in the vineyard when it comes to the wines themselves, it's really the quest is to keep quality first and center, and to improve, continue to always improve in those domains, but to also keep the tradition that is known to the estate Pierre Bouree as part of the balance into the equation of the wines.
Et cela commence par le renouvellement du matériel, par la modernité du matériel et des locaux. Voilà.
And so definitely some forecasted, improvement in equipment and maybe modernization when it comes to the tools around the winery, but once again, very much in parallel with the tradition that has been known to Pierre Bouree.
I have a question for both of you. If you could share with us, what is your favorite part about the winemaking process for each of you?
The best, could you repeat please, the best?
Your favorite part about the winemaking process, from the vineyard all the way until, final production. Where do you find the most joy in the process?
Do you know is our job is very particular, as we make all the work from the vineyard to speak with you about of our wine.
Right.
Okay. It's a alone work job in the world with as that. But the best is the best time is to drink a bottle with friends.
Yes.
The ultimate reward. Yeah.
I agree with you there.
Okay.
And for
I come back on the classical way because for me it's very important. Do you know, since 30 or 40 years, a lot of people, or us, we make the same from time to time from essay to use a lot of new oak to distill the grapes. And we try all sorts of things. And a lot of people is coming back to the way, to the classic way. That is very important.
Right. I know I mentioned counterculture, but there is a constant evolution, and oftentimes the evolution happens to be a full circle, right? You might try, you might experiment, and then you realize that, you come back to where you started, or at least where your ancestry started. So, but I hear you on that, definitely. We thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Jean-Christophe and Vincent.
Thank you.
It was a very royal pleasure to discuss with you. Sorry for my poor English.
No, not poor at all, not poor at all. Before we end though, Vincent, I want to hear what is your favorite part about the winemaking process?
Voilà.
Voilà.
Ma meilleure partie, travailler avec mon père.
Oh, it's to work with my dad. That's pretty sweet. Yeah.
C'est un partage très important. C'est l'entente de 2 générations et avec mon grand-père 3. Et c'est plus qu'important de tous être liés, puisque mon père a des choses à m'apprendre et mon grand-père connaît des choses et peut parler d'un millésime antérieur que je ne connais pas.
Bien sûr. So it's a very important.
Pour devenir médecin, il faut 7 ans. Pour devenir chirurgien, il faut 15 ans. Je pense que dans le métier du vin, il faut aussi 15 ans.
Wow. Yeah, to become a doctor, you need 7 years. To become a surgeon, you need 15. And I think to become a proven winemaker, so to speak, in understanding the vineyard land and the making, takes about 15 years or so.
Yes.
So
sure.
As Vincent just mentioned, his favorite part is to work with his father, but it's also the importance that he brings to gaining as much as possible from those 2 generations, and actually from 3 generations, including his grandfather. And where his grandfather brings in, knowledge of years of vineyard management and winemaking, years that were unknown to Vincent because of his young age, and having bits and pieces brought in by his own father. So 3 generations into 1. So c'est une bonne réponse. It's a good answer.
Thank you.
We thank you both so very much, and we truly are such great fans of your wine and your process and your dedication to the craft and being true vignerons. So thank you very much for your hard work so that we can indeed enjoy the bottles with our friends and family. So thank you.
Thank you.
We will see you. We hope to see you in Burgundy at some point. There is,
Yes.
there is finally some travels forecasted in the near future after staying away from France and Europe, forcefully. So hopefully we'll see you in Burgundy. We would hope to make a visit at some point in the near future. So
Thank you. Enjoy with Burgundy wine.
Yes, indeed.
Merci beaucoup, Jean-Christophe et Vincent.
Merci.
Thank you.
Et bonne soirée à vous. Good evening.
Soirée.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.